David's fucking demanding. Where are the people? We're here. Welcome. Hello, everyone.
Oh, bring them out here.
How's it going?
You know, sometime in like 2007, in some school somewhere in North America, there's a kid named David who shows up and his math teacher's not there. And he's like, you know what? If the math teacher's 15 minutes late, we're allowed to leave.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
All right. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome to the Board Boosters Post-Mortem discussion for Quartet for the Sega Master System. I am Zarek, your host and the single founder of the Board Boosters organization. Thank you all for meeting me here.
News to me.
Yeah, exactly. Joking. Folks, do you want to give you quick introductions here, and then we can get started talking about this great game?
Yes. Shall I go?
All right. I'm like, who's starting?
Everyone jump. Hello, I'm Bug Doctor. I'm the other founding member of this group, this fine establishment known as Board Boosters.
All right, me next. Hi, I'm Latalis. I'm a moderator sometimes when I want to be.
Hi, I'm Patak. Hello.
Oh. So, someone has to make the classic streamer error. So you know it had to happen by someone.
It wasn't me.
All right.
Still muted?
He's zero count.
They say you're still muted.
One day, Patak will be able to introduce himself, but not right now.
Yeah.
Yep, I am Patak. The wheel landed on me last month, so Quartet was the game we picked.
Cool.
All right, I'm Zero Counts for the third time. This time I am not muted. For real. I am one of the other founding members of Board Boosters.
Hey, chat, say he's still muted.
Imagine being so full of yourself that you felt like you needed 3 introductions.
Damn.
Hi, I'm Sel. I help out mostly with the website and stuff, but I am also a moderator here.
I think that's all of us.
I think so.
Unless ZC is still muted.
No, I don't think so.
Do you want to introduce yourself again?
Yeah, sure. All right, so hey, we did a speed run of we boosted the board for Quartet, Sega Master System game. This is the first Sega Master System game that we boosted, which was pretty cool. And it was a couple of people's first time playing Sega Master System game, which is also really awesome.
Yeah, I bought a system for this game. I bought a Sega Master System and the game for this boost.
What
and
a
I'm glad I
gamer.
did. Fucking yeah, it's awesome.
Some big commitment.
Yeah, do we want to go over a quick description of the game itself and what we got ourselves into this time?
Yeah, I mean, I could say it's it's like a sort of platformer run and gun kind of game. But does anyone have any like background knowledge on like sort of where it came out of, with like the arcade game and that sort of thing? They want to.
Yeah, I mean, it came out as originally it was it's called Quartet, but it had the reason it's called Quartet is because there's 4 playable characters on the original arcade,
Yeah.
and then when it was released on the Sega Master System, there wasn't. I guess there was
shit.
I guess there was plans for there to be the other 2, a 3rd and 4th player, which we. I can't remember who it was who mentioned it in the Discord, but there's a way that you can like get to access like the 3rd player. I can't remember. It's in there, but anyway, they planned to have all 4, but they ended up only releasing it with 2. I think they renamed it like Double Shot or something like that in some regions rather than Quartet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the original day version was called Double Target Cynthia
Double
Nunari.
Target. Yeah.
And then For some reason, they put it back to Quartet, which is slightly confusing, but hey, inflation, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Honestly, Double Target's a pretty good name too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's a run and gun shooter, I guess. With I mean, it's weird because there's like this jetpack that you can get as well. So when you have that item, it sort of becomes almost like a shmup almost, except with platformer aspects to it. So interesting little combination, especially for the time that it was released. Yeah, it kind of took the run and gun idea and just added a little bit more to it. So, and then having the ability to have 2 players on the screen at once or 4 players on the screen at once with the arcade version was pretty impressive at the time. Having that many players in a game like this, you didn't really see that very often. So, pretty cool.
Yeah. Interesting too, because the players actually, I think the characters collide with each other too, right? At least in the SMS version. You can like stand on each other and stuff, which makes might make for some strats. I don't know if it did that in the arcade one, but I kind of assume so. But so you could like have like four stack of people just running forward and blasting just this wall.
So there are actually
park nonsense.
Yeah,
I did do a little bit of co-op learning with my kid for the game. We didn't end up getting a full run together, but there are a few things about this game that co-op would be, you'd play it differently. Like there's one level where you enter in and you are confronted with this sort of like breakable wall of blocks that you have to shoot through. And so if you can stand on someone, they can more easily shoot like a hole that's in the exact right spot, where as a single player, you have to be jumping and doing it. And it's actually kind of an annoying part. You can fuck up and like make the hole the wrong way, and then it's harder to get through. And then there are a couple things that I noted really early on in the Discord, but I don't think anyone went back to do a lot of the 2-player runs. So like you could have one player sort of sit as an anchor and the other player because the screen won't scroll without both people, and so you could go to the edge of the screen and then like have a boss movement sort of be dictated by where the screen is. There's like a few screen scroll things you could do. Again, no one ended up really incorporating it from what I saw, but the 2-player run would definitely be different, is what I'm trying to say, than like a single player run in that way.
Right. Just a question. I was wondering if when one person is standing on top of the other and a bottom person jumps, do they both like? Does it carry the person with them, or can they just not jump?
I don't remember.
Neither do I.
Yeah, it was like a month and a half ago now. I don't really remember. Yeah,
I want to say that
you can jump.
I want to say that there was like some physics
together because I've seen in the demo.
Oh, okay.
I think there might be like some like physics difference a little, at least. Like, but yeah, I think it does push the person on top. Something that I really wanted to, and I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but like something I really wanted to test out, but we never. I played it with my son as well, and we didn't get far enough to test this. But I wanted to know how the final boss worked with 2 players on screen. I never really figured that out. You know, whether it because it targets the player, and if there's 2, does it target both, or does it only fire on one and leaves the other one alone? I don't know. So. Anyway, something I was hoping to figure out.
There's some science to be had in the 2-player scene.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I assume it would like scatter them and might just make it like more chaotic, but who knows?
Well, I mean, even if it went like half of the bullets went to the one side, if you could keep the players on either side, then even if one person was just dodging, the other person would have much easier time, because like I got hit every single time I went up and down the side of the boss, right? And for folks who didn't make it through the game for the boost, the last boss is essentially like 5 sprites in the middle of a room. You're flying around it, and you have to shoot at them like horizontally, and you can kill each one of them, and then they don't shoot at you anymore. Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was the game. I did not get a run finish for this game, but for those who did, like, what were your experiences on Bug? I know you did a couple streams of this and got a pretty decent time in the game. How was your experience with the game?
I had a fucking blast with this game. This is one of my favorite board boosters games, like easily. And something I guess we didn't really talk about the level structure and stuff. So I'll just quickly touch on that. So each level, there's like 6 stages, in each stage you have to find a star, and if you don't find all 5 stars at the base 5 stages, you can't access the 6th one, so you have to like hunt those down. And then there's also like each stage like has like kind of a back, like you go through a door and then you're on like the reverse side of it and everything like that too. So there's like 2 kind of levels to each stage, so it's pretty cool. I had a lot of fun. I thought it was awesome, and I feel like it's really, really easy to pick up, and like even just to get like a base time, and really easy to also like just incorporate occasional strats and stuff to get to like chip that time down. And I think it's like definitely a very approachable speed run, and it doesn't like it's not a long game, so like if you reset, it's like, oh darn, there goes 2 minutes, but it's like not a huge deal. And they're like some of the bosses have some like annoying RNG, but it's definitely not like frustrating RNG for the most part anyway. At least maybe once you get to the point where you're gunning for world record like Patak and Mike were doing. But yeah, it's fun. I think it's really fun and interesting game, and I honestly had a blast with it. Every time I reset, I was not like upset with it. I was just like, oh sweet, I get to play more Quartet. Yeah, it's good.
That's awesome. So yeah, but yeah, go ahead, Sarah.
Well, yeah, just as far as first impressions go, like I didn't quite grind out like as great a time as Bug got into, but I did enjoy the game. I thought that like as far as the Sega Master System, I hadn't played a whole ton of them, a ton of games on the system before, and I felt like from what I'd seen of other games, this was a pretty good introduction to the system, right? Like I was pretty happy with that in that sense. I sort of disagree on some of the things of what Bug was saying about RNG. Like it definitely felt, certainly with like the second boss where he's like moving around and kind of killing you pretty quick, which is
lizards.
Sort of running.
Yeah, lizards annoying. Yeah,
the lizard does kind of suck. But there are like one of the things I will say is that like a lot of the first things that had frustrated me about the game were things that we almost sort of that get better because you learn a single speed strat, and that it just deals with that. Like all the speed strats make running the game and playing the game easier, and so as soon as you learn one thing, it's like a much more enjoyable run, right? And I just want to mention something, because this is something that comes up like as soon as you start playing the game, where it's a bit confusing, that VayneX I think mentions in the chat, where this is a game where you didn't have like a health bar or like health in the same way you would normally. There are some games like this where you have health that's like a timer that ticks down, and when you take a hit, it takes away from that timer. It's an interesting system, and there were like a few places in the game where you could get health pickups that when you're learning the game are super, super important.
Yeah.
So all like that was really cool too. Yeah, no, I did enjoy the game. I think it's an interesting game. I think it is it's a cool speedrun. It's the kind of speedrun that fits exactly, I think, in our niche, where it hasn't really been run a lot. It's not terribly hard to pick up, like, and start playing, and the run is not super long. Like, it's just like a lot of the things that tick boxes for us. So I'm really glad we came across it. But I do just like, as far as like, you know, moving away from first impressions, maybe I did want to kind of ask Patak, like, what was it about this game that made you suggest it? Like, how come you're like, this is the one that I want to see people play? Because I want to get that sense from you of like how we ended up here.
Yeah, and how did you get like addicted to it? Like, what's your history with this game too?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, I looked at Quartet a long time ago when I was first looking at Master System games, and I just immediately thought, this is beautiful, this is colourful, I'm going to come back to this. And I picked it up last February. It's one of those games where I never once got frustrated with it. It's one of those games that controls beautifully, so Master System games often have input eating or a little bit of jank to them, but it's so easy just to pick up and play and learn without having to do memorization. It's more about the beats of the game, and you can just grind it. And I love broadly short games where you can really squeeze the pips on things. So just, if you think back to your first experiences with video games as a kid, this game is one of those where I find it as an adult, it's just hitting that same note of just, this is joyful, this is happy, this is short and vibrant and fun, and you never really get annoyed with it, but it hooks you in, you know? I
agree with that. Yeah, it controls like super sharp, and the only control issues I had was with the fucking Sega Master System controller. But then I hooked up a Genesis controller, and that was like, and then it was like great. And it's always like, it's like a consistent frame rate. Like I think it's always 60, never dips or anything like that. And yeah, I don't remember any inputs getting eaten at all. So yeah, like definitely good call on that. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of later Master System games where they're really pushing the boat graphically, or they're doing a lot with the system. So especially in Brazil and in Europe. And for me, those games are sort of not the spirit of the Master System, but Quartet was one of the first releases. It's more like Alex Kidd in Miracle World. It's that first generation, where it's just very pure and simple gameplay, and it just really, I think, is a really great advert for the Master System in general, speedrunning.
Yeah. Cool.
So I heard a mention in the chat here of the music for the game as well, which I think probably, I assume, adds to that as well. Like there are a few tracks in here which are pretty good, and definitely seem to get wide appeal from chat when we were playing the game. So that is also pretty cool. There's a couple things that are a bit odd about the game is, and this is not a detraction. There's things that I think are notable that are worth mentioning. The way that like the characters sort of like the enemies like spawn in as these like weird little clouds. I think that is a part of the lore for even just the original arcade, because all of the enemies come out of these bubbles, I think. But I didn't look at the lore of the game at all, so it is sort of odd where it's like constantly respawning enemies on the screen. It's very arcadey, right? Because that's how like arcade games were often like that, and you don't see that as much in like later on. Even games where like monsters are constantly coming in, like Ninja Gaiden, they just sort of pop in. They don't like offside of the screen. They don't really like show up as some sort of like in some sort of way beforehand. And so I guess this is sort of connected with that, but the bosses as well, like I didn't really understand what the connection was between all these things. I know that you're supposed to be fighting to defend your planet or something like that, but there's like an owl. Like why is there an owl? Like that didn't make sense. It was a bit odd, but
yeah, there's a bunch of nonsense. Yeah.
They can't hear me. They can't hear me. I muted.
Oh my god.
I was doing other stuff. Okay.
He's throwing for content at this point.
Yeah.
The clouds, I feel, were really helpful because like it kind of gave you like a short window to like know when enemies were appearing. And I don't know if that was like intended by the developers or what, but like it's definitely a problem in other games, and it was a little bit in this one where things would kind of spawn on top of you, but you did have that fraction of a time to sort of react to things, which is cool. I liked that aspect.
Yeah, I feel like they did that on purpose for sure. Like, and I like that you get that heads up to be like, there's a lot of enemies on screen, to be fair, and a lot of times, so it's nice to know where you can like duck to avoid things. And something that was interesting is that sometimes if you are like on top of where an enemy spawns in, you'll cancel the spawn. And it happens sometimes, but not always. Yeah, there were a few times in the second stage after I would come back from killing the lizard, I'd come back to like the main part of the stage where you go left to the exit. And there's some enemies that spawn in. Sometimes I go in front of one and then it would just not spawn. And I was just like, like, it'd be neat if you could like use that to your advantage and do a few things like, you know, path it out, do a few things faster. But also the like timing on spawns is not exactly the same all the time. Like sometimes you'll do the same thing. Like there's, I think in stage 4 or 5, there's a part where you kind of go, you're going like left toward the exit, and there's a skull that spawns near the top. And sometimes it spawns earlier and you'll get hit by it if you try to sneak by over top. Sometimes it spawns like, I don't know, fractions of a second later, and then you can get by it. So yeah, it's not consistent, but it feels like something that you could maybe exploit in very specific situations. Yeah. It's cool.
So just like I guess that sort of transition us into some of the very specific speedrun things that we can talk about the game. That is one of them, right? Like I didn't notice like a despawning thing, but the way that the enemies spawn, certainly like with that, I think this is the same skull you're talking about when you're going back towards the exit. when it's like sort of this skull is on screen, it goes sort of up and down, and it can shoot left or right, and that tells you like how like whether it shoots left or right sort of tells you what's going to happen with another enemy's like cannon behavior that you're about to go beside, and that is really like that's one of those things where once you see it, it's so easy to just track it as you're going along and like know what sort of pattern you're in, so there's like a lot of really interesting small pieces of tech like that in the game. The thing that I could not get a hold of or get really a handle on, and I don't know if we ever got to the point where it was consistent for like Mike or Yupatalk, but the invincibility glitch that we just sort of determined existed, but we couldn't quite master. I don't know if you can like tell us a little bit about that, because I couldn't get it to work. So if someone who could get it to work can say a little bit about it, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so I'd found it without realizing a long time ago just in stage 6, and what's happening is when you transition from the overworld to the underworld, the game is zeroing the player count, so your sprite doesn't exist for a few frames while it handles everything else. And if you keep on pressing the door enter button, then it overrides editing the player back in, and you end up invincible. So you do that on the 5th frame after you transition, and you become invincible. And you can absolutely destroy bosses, you can sail through enemies. And Mike is extremely good at it, both with the up button in stage 2 and in the using the jetpack button in stage 4. And he absolutely makes mincemeat of the butterfly in 4, but it's awkward because you get no visual cue when you've got it, so you have to hit and hope, really.
Yeah. So it just for folks at home as well, the Mike we're talking about here is Mike Speedy Adventures in the Discord and on Twitch. It is not at all a surprise to hear that Mike is good at something when it comes to speedrunning, because that is our experience with Mike. And the world record run, I think now that we're going to watch, is Mike's run of this game as well. So, Mike, as he has done with many games, like went pretty hard in and obliterated this one. Mm-hmm. And just that is enough of a shout out for Mike for right now, I think, but because we'll have to do more in the future, I know. But I will say another kudos to you, Patak, for submitting a game, even though you did have the record for this one, knowing that we could come after it, and we did take the world record away from you, but as a group. But it is good to see when someone does this, where they like put a game forward and say like, hey, I want people to play this, even though I could just like selfishly hoard it as a little secret game that I'm the world record holder for. So that's cool.
Thank you. I love when people break games together, so it's one of those things where you can take it to a certain level, but the game wouldn't have got down to 5.3x, 5.4x without the team working all of this, Yes, you guys finding out different spawn stuff and the invincibility, and just more eyes makes more accessibility for a game, and it's more about having fun with it,
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
And you're like 6 seconds or something away from world record now, right? You got like 5:38.
Yeah, like
8.
Yeah, I got 5:39, and then I've had to stop because I'm doing something else right now. But I will come back in the summer, and I will try and get it back. There is still some wiggle room. 5.2x could happen, but I'll leave my donuts.
That'd be sick.
Yeah, I kind of worried about this one with whether or not we were going to be able to push it down much farther, just because the shorter the runs get, harder it is to really find things. But yeah, you put enough heads together, and you start finding things in these games. I mean, there's really popular games that you find that get things figured out, decades after people started running them. So there's always something else to find. But do we want to watch this world record run?
Let's do it.
Let's have a little gander.
Okay.
I don't reckon we do.
Just as we're pulling it up, I want to say, and this is something that I sometimes mention about other games as well, that because I was playing it on a emulator, I was able to map my Super Nintendo controller as a Sega Master System controller, but the Sega Master System didn't have, I think, did it have a reset button, or it had 2 buttons, and then
there's a D-pad and 2 buttons, and then the start button is on the console itself.
Yeah,
right. But I could map reset onto the controller, so I was really easy to reset a run because I could just hit that whenever I fucked up, and then it was like starting the game. It was like really quick, just like turn around like that.
Perfection.
All right, let me get the music stopped here. the arcade music, by the way, that's playing in the background. That's
nice.
Yeah,
I haven't listened to the arcade tunes at all.
that's pretty. I mean, they did a really good job with the Master System, like given what the Master System sound chip was, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very accurate renditions. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the composer for the Master System version was Funky Katsuhiro Hayaki. And if you know any of his work, he also composed Super Hang-On for the Genesis. So he's got some
oh, nice.
Cool.
Yeah. Now that you say that, yeah, Super Hang-On does have some similar composition to it. So yeah, that makes sense. It's cool. All right, I'm gonna pull this up. I'm gonna stop it real quick so we can all watch. So if I'm gonna share my screen, everybody's looking at a black screen right now, but we'll be back. Don't worry. Go live. Okay. People in the call can jump into that black screen, and then I'll start the video. I'm not sure.
Tell me what to do.
I'm not sure if you'll hear sound or not. I forgot to test that beforehand. Of course I did. That's the stream, right? This stream, right? All right, here we go.
If you're not muted, then the game will be. It's one or the other.
That's right. Okay, here we go.
This is the 532 by
532
Speedy Adventures. Yeah, which he didn't even realize he got at first. Pretty sure.
Yeah, he was.
Sorry, he didn't realize he got it?
Oh.
Yeah, he
No,
was...
I mentioned it in the chat, and he was like, "Oh, I didn't realize I got that because I'd been looking through for his runs and there, and like, oops."
He just did so many runs in a row that he just forgot that one of them was a 5-2.
Yeah. I didn't even know you could get that close to that boss.
Yeah, you can get right on top of it, and that's sort of like a lucky pattern where it goes down into the corner as well. Like it's like all those things came together really nicely there.
Yeah, it'll just perch on the ground. Yeah.
So through the stages, Mike is trying to collect all these point balls because he's trying to get his rank up to captain, the final boss. But what's amazing about this run, he doesn't actually quite get there, but he still smashes the world record. So really impressive.
Yeah, so something that we didn't mention earlier is the point stuff. Once you reach certain thresholds of points, you get an upgrade to your weapon or a 1-up. I think the first upgrade of the gun is it travels farther and faster, I believe. And then there's one later on that's like a spread gun or something, right? Once you get, it's 40,000 points or something.
Yeah, the Colonel rank is like the wide beam, which gives you power to break 3 blocks at once. So those bits in the ice stage and 5 you don't have so much trouble with. Because the game wants you to loop around a few times. It's one of these first-generation Sega games. There's lots of secrets and replay value, I guess.
I'd imagine at the beginning, when you're playing it, you'd have to figure out how to get all the stars, too. That was probably a big thing, having to actually sort out how to do that, right?
The interesting thing is, it tells you how to get them in the instruction book.
Does it really?
It literally just tells you, and it also tells you how to beat the bosses and stuff. So this boss can be super random, but you get an invulnerability pickup there, and then you just sit in his hitbox and blast the crap out of him, and it's actually not that bad. It's just if he kind of goes in random, a really bad direction to the point where you're struggling to hit him. But you don't usually die at him because of the invulnerability, which is nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on the screen in this stage. This is one of the places where you could get the invulnerability right there by hitting the appropriate button. And I think
he does.
He has it. So he's invulnerable. This boss can't hurt him. And he just sort of sits on top of it. Otherwise, you'd have to dance around with it as it's going up and down to try and kill it.
Yeah. That's the skull I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Mike saved about 10 seconds on that boss alone. And that one, you would think it's consistent because you're meant to hit the same frame every time, but it's one of those where you'll get clumps of invincibility and then you won't get it. And Mike is next level with that. I mean, he's also a top Prince of Persia runner, which says everything.
Oh.
So this skull that's going to come up right here shoots, and then indicates that it was on the better pattern, the cannons there, because it actually despawned one of the cannonballs coming off of it.
Oh, damn. That's a hell of a gold fast stage. It's awesome. This part's tricky. This, neat that they just make you like straight up platform this and don't give you the jetpack. But definitely makes for some like tricky jumps. Then yeah, there's a star on the wall there that he just picked up. So he's got all 5 stars, which will let him go to the final level.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of
God.
Yeah, very annoying. There are a lot of health pickups. One at the beginning of this part of the stage that as you're going, like a lot of the time running it, you're still going to pick up the health because you're going to need it or you'll die. But once you get to this level, it takes way too much time. So you just got to survive.
Yeah, and that boss there, you can just hover in front of his face, and he's supposed to shoot these like those ping pong ball things out, but they don't spawn if you just sit in front of him. So you can just bully him. That's it. This is the last stage now, so
yeah. These things, when you shoot them, the head pops off and flies around, and actually shoots the base will shoot fire at you. But if you shoot the base enough times, you'll freeze the head in place for a short time. And if you get lucky, that was lucky that he was able to shoot the head because it was in the ground there. But otherwise, it'll just suck up time trying to chase it down. It'll kill you.
Yeah.
It can be very frustrating if you don't get a handle on it really quickly.
Yeah, messing those things up is a huge, huge time loss.
This is the last boss we're going into now, yeah.
Which we've named Light Bright, if I remember correctly.
Understandably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Light Bright is firing from each of its banks one by one, but there's a little blind spot because there's only so much that can be on the screen at the time. And Mike is just very carefully making sure he gets into the blind spot every time. He's handling it really well. He takes a little hit there, but it doesn't really make a difference because he's got a good pattern.
It's always that top one that's left. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
Really quick fight, though. Yeah, it looks like a chaotic boss, and I thought that I eventually got to the point where I could do that like more risky but quicker kill, and I thought it was gonna be trickier than it was, but once you get the handle on it, it's not too bad. Yeah, that's it. And then you rescue
successfully accomplished your mission.
Yeah, you find the corpse of a princess and take it back. It's a very strange reward.
No one's gonna steal our dead princesses. Yeah.
So I didn't even realize that. So in this run, I didn't realize the glitch was not achieved on the stage in the boss, right?
Well, no, the invincibility did come up in the stage with the butterfly boss.
Right, yes.
Yeah, stage 4,
but not in the fun. So it's still a big.
I don't think you can do it in that one, right?
No, you can't get the invincibility lit on the final boss because you're not transitioning through a doorway. But Mike didn't have the captain rank, so he had to get in much closer to Light Bright because his shots weren't firing as fast. It's a lot more hairy.
Yeah.
You blink and you miss the run. It's so quick, and that's what's awesome about it. It's so quick that it's easy to just approach it and give it like a handful of tries, and get a time in. And I thought it was great for board boosters. Honestly, I thought it was awesome. So, but yeah, very impressive run for sure.
That's really crazy.
Yeah, I mean it's a simple game in a few different ways. Like it's short. There's just as far as speedrunning, there's just the one category too, right? Like there's not. I guess we could rightfully say there's a second category out there for anyone who wants to finish that co-op run. And it's too bad there aren't two board boosters who are geographically close enough to just do that once in a while. Like we're pretty diffuse group, but it would be nice to see someone put a co-op run of this together. Maybe if someone is going to be at a conference or a GDQ or a convention together with somebody else, then you could do that or put that on the list of things. But we don't have that yet.
That's a good point. I know somebody who's going to ESA and he's interested in running Quartet as well, so I'd like to mention that to him because he's a very good masher as well.
Nice.
There you go.
You want to see more people pick it up.
That'd be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, because there's definitely some ways you could speed things up a little bit. Because I think the 2-player, I think it doubles the health of the bosses and enemies.
It's
Something
close.
like that.
It's not quite actually. It's not quite double in some cases.
Oh, really?
But it does boost it a little bit. It shows that all in the fucking instruction book too. It's like, oh, here's
really?
the hit point value.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, I could pull the damn thing out if I want. Here I go. I'm gonna pull it out. 1 second. You keep talking.
What were some of those strats again, Bug? I think it was shoot at body, something like that.
Yeah, shoot at body.
I think this instruction manual is also where we like figured out what all the names of these enemies were too, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think so. Oh, fuck. Oh, there it is.
Or shoot all over body. That was what it was. Shoot all over body.
It's not a skull, it's a hi-ho fly locate. As in hi-ho, it's off to tail we go.
Okay, open this fantastic looking manual here.
They need to bring back manuals.
I was about to say, it is sort of sad that young people these days, when they buy a game, they're not going to get the ephemera that comes with it, like the weird plastic cases, like in the same way.
Yeah.
Because like all the cases are all the same. They're all like it's very samey with one sheet of paper for the logo and whatnot. Now
I just got my Ring Fit, and like they even have a spot for a manual, but there's no manual. I'm like, why even make the cases this big?
Sorry, just trying to find it here.
If you played the Western version, you would only have the checkerboard box art. The Japanese box art that you guys have got on the website is so good. It's like something out of an
so
anime.
much better.
Yeah. Shadow does say in the chat here, the title screen Mary does not look like the in-game sprite Mary, who does not look like the point tally screen Mary, who does not look like the ending cutscene Mary, who does not look like the box art Mary, who does not look like the manual Mary, and so on. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So most of them are doubled exactly. The first one is the first boss. You need to hit 16 times in 1 player and 40 in 2 player. So that's over double. And then the where the heck is it? This one was lower. Number 3. So I guess the flower swingy cactus looking thing. 25 in 1 player and 40 in 2 players. So slightly under half. But other than that, they are actually doubled.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah. So anyway, but sure, there's some cool strats there for sure that could happen. Could arise.
All right. Anything more we want to say about Quartet before we move on to some other stuff here we got to do?
I feel like I've said enough about it. Fantastic. Enjoyed it. Very fun. If you're looking for a quick speed run to, test your chops on something, it's a really good game to just pick up and play. And Attack has a guide for it too, I believe, right? So, easy to
all mapped out.
Yeah, easy to follow along and learn it really quickly and get time on the board.
For sure. I might end up going back and playing this. It did look fun. I just didn't have time.
That'd be sweet.
All right, folks. So then continuing on to our other business for the evening, I do want to mention something. The Sega crew is doing just as far as like good and welfare stuff, a marathon race, marathon/race of Sega Master System games. I will put it in the chat here for folks to see. They have a website up with the info for that. So if you're interested in that, they have a Discord and whatnot. You can connect with those folks. And if you're unfamiliar with the Sega Master System, maybe that's a great way to get a few runs under your belt for a few different games there. And any other like marathons or other things we want to mention out there in the world before we go on to like stuff about the wheel?
Retrothon is next month, and we got a couple board booster runs happening during that event. I'll be running.
Who's running those?
I'll be running Haunting starring Polterguy for the event, which was our October boost last year. And then David, TKI, and I will be racing the Ignition Factor, which was, what was that, February of last year, I want to say? Something like that? It was a while back. But
that'll be a hot race.
Oh. Yes, indeed.
That sort of touches on something that I was thinking about the other day when I was looking at the list of games on the website. Just like how crazy it is that we've been doing this for so long that we have this like list of games now, and you can like be like, oh yeah, Ignition Factor. Like I forgot, like there's so many you can forget one or two of them. But no, that's good. That is good. We should maybe put events together to let folks know to go and drop in and watch those.
Sure.
And say hi to our
Vein with the intel. With
Yeah.
December boost of 23.
Veinopedia. And okay, so that is it, I guess, then for the marathon stuff. I just checked, and the things you're mentioning here are the things that are coming up as far as the marathon Discord channel goes. As for the wheel, are there any the only announcement I think we have about the wheel, that nothing is, nothing's taken off because we've had anything too similar recently. If you should be on the wheel, you're on the wheel. We did make a slight adjustment where if someone had left the Discord, or sort of they're not active in Board Boosters in that way, they're not going to show up on the wheel anymore. So to be on the wheel, you have to be around essentially, which we thought was fair because there's lots of people who are running the games. They're in the Discord. They're chatting about what's going on, and we didn't want their choices to potentially get drowned out by someone who
did you just mute?
I think, Zarek just dropped off there.
There's so much
the
muting
day of
happening.
muting.
I can't believe it.
It's a mute.
Can you hear me
Now
right
I
now?
can hear you. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, it was just the last little bit.
If the only important thing was if you left the Discord, you're off the wheel. That's all. That's the crux of what I was trying to say. Hopefully, you got that.
Yeah. You leave the community, you're off the fucking wheel. But that's okay. That's the way it is.
All right. So, should we get to the wheel? The so-called
Yes.
Wheel.
wheel.
We here.
All right. So I'll pull this up here. Maybe there it is. Got a bunch of names on there.
Look at them all.
Look at them all. We're gonna scroll down. We're gonna shuffle them up. All right. All right. Any before I hit the spin here, are there any games on the list that people are looking to have selected?
I don't even fucking remember them.
I think it's
don't
about
remember
time that my game gets selected, honestly.
Yeah.
I was the first person selected ever for one of these boosts, and I'd like to do it again. I'd like to. My game is good. Good suggestion. It's a good game. I want you to play my game.
My game.
All right. Let's go. We'll spin it. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh.
Oh, baby, let's go!
Called it. Wow.
Oh, yeah, rigged.
That is so funny. Rigged. It's one. The Norp analog, right?
Yeah, the Nyorp
The
Apolog.
Norp Apolog.
It's sort of like an idler game, but it has multiple different upgrade paths, and it even has a speedrunner mode once you beat the game once. So you could probably find that in the app data and just toggle it on immediately. Yeah, and it gives you.
Can you say the name of it again? The what?
Yeah, I was gonna put I was gonna put the title in the chat because it's a very specific
Apolog. So you got these little Nyorp dudes, they're little Nyorps, and they run around, they hit a rock, and when they hit the rock, it jets out rock particles, and they collect the rock particles. It's really cute.
There is no board for this game, by the way.
I know.
This is this is another instance where we get to create the board.
That doesn't have a board, but has a speedrun mode.
I think I think that's it. I put it in the chat. I think.
It is not free, unfortunately, but
I love how I was like,
pretty
can you
cheap,
say that? That doesn't make any sense. And you're like, yeah, you have these little Nyorps. Obviously.
Don't you know?
I'm very excited about this game, okay?
Wow.
And also,
it sounds like
Bug then
like
finds it on Steam. Bug finds it on Steam and is like, I'm not sure if this is it. There's another Nyorp Apolog out there.
Well, I don't know.
Wrong.
You never know.
Sorry, Patak, what was that?
I was just saying, it sounds like something Alice and Popeye would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's an idler, right? So it's got like a prestige system, but the speedrun mode pre-completes that for you. You start with 20 prestige points, and then there's like various upgrade paths you can go down. You can be like, oh, well, this type of Njorp does better, or this type, and like you can synergize and stuff. So there's going to be a lot of like mathing and optimizing with a speedrun route.
Wait a minute. Will there be spreadsheets?
I am going to spreadsheet this game.
Nice. Seeing this now, I do think. Have I seen you play this before?
I have played this on stream before.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
They're cute. Damn right.
It's another instance that like since we started Board Boosters, there's been almost no like overlap of genres or types of games that we've done. Like, I mean, it's wild. I mean, we keep finding these odd corners of the world of video games, different types of genres and things. So I'm very excited for Njorps.
Yeah,
that's actually
interesting.
That's a good point, Zero. And one of the things I sometimes think about with this is like we have an approach to like what we do, our niche in gaming.
It doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
We pick games that like not a lot of people play, and so sometimes we get ones where it's like it's hard to connect with them because people don't play it for a reason, right? But one of the things that
Defenders of Dynatron City.
There are some negatives, right? Yeah, exactly. There are some negatives to the way that we approach games as this group, but there are a lot of positives. Like you find games where it's like, oh, it's a bit different, and so people didn't play it because it was like a bit weird or it was a bit hard to play. And you have all these like interesting differences to like what might be just like normal games or like just like standard mainstream games.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the reasons why I think maybe we pick a lot of different types of stuff, right? Is that's the things that are like more niche in the gaming world.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Some people might look at it and just be like, "What? You have to run around as a firefighter trying to save people from burning buildings? What kind of weird game is this? I'm not going to speedrun that."
Yeah. I don't want to save people. I want to shoot them.
All right.
I'm excited.
There we go.
Cool.
Njorp analog. Parenthetical. The.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Epilogue. Oh, excuse me.
Njorp
the Njorp epilogue.
Overwhelmingly positive reviews. So,
it's really fun.
There we
for
go.
a fucking treat.
So we'll get
the one downside is accessibility because it's not a free game and it's modern Steam game. It's like what, $10 or something?
Yeah.
It's like $6.99 or something. $7.99 Canadian, so like $5 for US.
Yeah, seemed pretty affordable. So
yeah,
not too bad.
I will say, if there are people who want to participate in the game and financials is a concern, please reach out to the mod team for Board Boosters. I'm sure we'll be willing to.
There is a way
make something
to
happen,
share your Steam library with others.
Right.
Just saying.
We don't want that to be a. We don't want that to. We don't want that to be a barrier for entry. So please reach out if that's something that you'd like to discuss. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll get the Discord updated with the new game and archive the rest of the stuff for Quartet. If folks are still interested in running Quartet, definitely go ahead and do that because I'm gonna try to finish a run of that as well. 60 megabytes.
He has commented it's only a 60 megabyte game. That's very funny.
All right. Well,
cool.
Is there anything else anybody wants to talk about before we call it here? No. All right. Well, thank you. I want to thank Patak for coming on and talking to us about the game and for suggesting Quartet as well. It's a really fun boost.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much for boosting the game. It's been a wonderful month.
Absolutely. All right. And thank you to all of you board boosters out there. I hope you participate. Thank you. There's the camera.
I'm pointing at everyone except not Sid.
I just saw David's comment about the size of the game. That's funny.
Yeah. Okay, folks. See you later.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Peace.